Welcome back. South Africa is officially under lockdown level 2 now. President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa made the announcement in his address to the nation last night. The new restrictions are more relaxed, meaning public spaces can stay open for longer, more people are allowed at gatherings, and the curfew has also been adjusted. The relaxed restrictions also come as political parties are taking to the campaign trail for the upcoming local government elections. We have our reporters who are different parts of the country finding out how people feel about the lowering of restrictions. Ronald Masinda is in Cape Town. Let's bring him in at this hour. Ronald, how has Cape Town received the relaxed lockdown level 2 restrictions?
Well, I guess welcome relief from religious leaders who for months have been complaining about the treatment that they've been receiving from government under level 4 of the lockdown. Places of worship were closed, and that led to Pastors for Church Closures, a group that went out at the union buildings and even here in Cape Town, in the Western Cape, in protest, urging government to reopen churches and places of worship. And then under level 3 of the lockdown, places of worship were moved to 50% capacity. But for more on what has taken place, we are going to be speaking to a couple of religious leaders. I'm going to start off with you, Apostle Nxesi. Thank you so much for your time. Welcome relief, but you probably not too happy about Cyril Ramaphosa's decision.
Thank you, Ronald. Greetings to all the viewers. We note the announcement by the President of moving to alert level 2, which by allowing 250 inside and 500 outside. We note that obviously we are not too happy about it because we've been calling for 50%. Remember, churches in South Africa are not equal. We've got mega churches, which are many in South Africa, and we've got buildings, we've got capacity to to accommodate for more people. For example, if you have a church of 5,000 people, that can be easily take 1,000 to 2,000 people with social distancing and everything. So we are calling that government should consider 50% rather than putting a number. You put a ratio rather than a number. But it's a move towards the right direction. We note and we believe, but more can be done.
Only 50 people are still allowed to enter funerals. We know that a lot of families will be up in arms about this decision. But as religious leaders, what are your thoughts?
As religious leaders, obviously, funerals is not run by churches. They are run by families. It's a family affair. We join what family does. So we can't really take responsibility of what happens in the funeral, especially when the time of eating comes and so on. But 50 is not a problem if families are okay with it.
All right. Yeah. Pastor, if I can just bring you closer and just introduce yourself to our viewers, first of all. And then lastly, we know that one of the issues is around vaccinations. We know that a lot of people in our communities are reluctant to get vaccinated. What role are you as religious leaders willing to play?
Let me thank you for this opportunity. I am Apostle Afrika Tshona, and I want to say clearly that we respect the Constitution, more especially when it does not speak against the Bible. And rightfully so, we believe that members of our churches at personal capacity should decide whether are they going to take it or not. Yes, of course, there could be good things, but also there are negative things about the vaccines, which I am under the impression that the disclosure on the negative side of it is very managed and limited. But we are not in a position as pastors to tell members of our congregations what to do, but we will rather refer them to the Constitution that says you have got the right to take a particular medication when you are convinced that it is right for your system. But when you do not want to, it is again your right. And we want to say also, in advising to the side of the government, the narrative must not be as if there can only be one way of doing it. I mean, we should be speaking broadly and look at other ways of boosting the immune system other than only focusing on a particular vaccine as if it is the only messiah.
Thank you very much indeed for your time. Well, Pratanda, the issue of vaccination still very much a contentious issue, especially in areas such as Khayelitsha and Mitchell's Plain. They were mentioned during the Western Cape government's DigiCon conference last week, saying that the concerns are that only around 43% of people from area like Khayelitsha, one of the largest townships in South Africa, only 43% of people registered to take the vaccine, which was much lower than many parts of here in the Western Cape. So there will continue to be drives in get more people vaccinated, but also many feel that religious leaders must also play their part in trying to advise people to take the vaccine.
Thank you very much, Ronald Masinda in Cape Town, just getting some sense, especially from the religious community there in the mother city, in terms of how they are viewing and welcoming the lockdown level 2 restrictions, which have now been more relaxed. We've got Mawande in Durban and we've got Nqobile in Johannesburg. Nqobile, let me come next to you. You've also been up and about in Johannesburg. I wonder what's the reaction been like in terms of the new relaxed restrictions?
Well, Bradan, we've spoken to restaurant owners and they were speaking to us about the fact that the lockdown as a whole has really left a dent in the industry. So it's been very difficult. Having dropped to level 2 now means that they can do more, but it's still very scary for them because they have lost so much. In fact, one of the restaurant owners that we were speaking to, he was saying to us that he even lost his job. This was during lockdown. So now lockdown level 5, when they had nothing else to do. Now we are in lockdown level 2, which means that he is going to be part of the people that will be welcoming new customers in a new place where he's now gotten his job. So quite an exciting journey there, but very difficult for many. In fact, we spoke to a comedian who also was saying that they're feeling like their industry has not been given a chance to also get to survive because they need more people. So with the gatherings now being increased, the numbers being increased, this is good for them because now they can start doing their shows and expecting more money also would be coming in. But we also spoke to some of the pastors and the religious leaders, also just still feeling like there's more that can be done. In fact, the one that we spoke to was saying that 50% capacity will be something that they look forward to. But now I want to bring in a student in Braam who, of course, has experienced lockdown on a different level. Perhaps just give us an understanding, how does this affect you now?
It affects us more because now we have contact classes, which is more effective than online classes, and we also have more access to the school than when we're at home, because some of us can't afford internet accesses, so it's much more good for us on our side.
And I imagine it's been very difficult in the past. Tell me a bit about that.
It's been difficult because we have been at home. And you can't really study at home. It becomes really hard, and also because we live in different places. Sometimes the internet doesn't even connect to us, so we just basically just stick to what we have and have to make a plan about it. So it has really affected us in a very bad way.
And what are your hopes now going forward?
I really hope that we just go to level 1. So that we can just go back to normal. This pandemic has just been a roller coaster for us, so we need much better things to do now. Yes.
Thank you very much. Well, Britannia, a student, they're just saying that it's been very difficult for them because, as you know, most people have spoken about the fact that affordability is an issue, especially when it comes to data. She's just saying that there's that issue, but on the second also levels that internet sometimes don't work in some areas, which has affected them. But also just saying that contact classes is something that they're looking forward to, and this is what's more exciting for them. And of course, also saying that this is the time where they wish that we could just go to level 1 and all of this could be over.
Yes, just like business, Nqobile. I had some business leaders earlier, the likes of Bonang Mohale and others, saying they wish the president had just taken the country right away to level 1. I guess we're going to have to wait for some time. Nqobile Madlala there, she's of course up and about in Johannesburg. We've been to the mother city with Ronald Masinda, in eGoli now, the city of gold with Nqobile Madlala. Let's go to eThekwini in Durban. Mawande Kheswa, good afternoon. I understand you've also been gauging the responses from political parties in KZN to the new lockdown level 2 restrictions, of course, which are now more relaxed than previously.
Good day, Braden. Yes, that is indeed the case. For the most part, there's been an acceptance to that level 2 announcement. A number of political parties have quite actually welcomed that, some going as far as saying really they were for all the lockdown restrictions that had been put in place, and this one is no different to them in terms of welcoming it. We did speak to the DA, and this is what they further had to say.
Seems to be quite opportunistic that suddenly we've now moved down to lockdown level 2. Just a couple of weeks ago we were told we're having an election in November and not next year. So you have to ask yourself the question about the timing of reducing down to level 2. But nevertheless, we have been literally campaigning for the last year and a half. Obviously within the realms of the legislation and the lockdown regulations. So we're well ahead of the pack. I think you can see our posters have gone up. We're ready to take to the street. And at the end of the day, we shouldn't be using COVID lockdown regulations to benefit any political organisation or anybody in this coming election.
Okay, a little bit of misreaction there. That's the political party, the DA. Thank you very much. The Mawande Kheswa in Durban, and Nqobile Madlala brought us a view from a student in Johannesburg, and we heard from a man of the cloth from the religious community in Cape Town with Ronald Masinda. Thank you very much, colleagues, for the latest there in terms of how South Africans today are welcoming or reacting to the new relaxed restrictions under lockdown level 2 that were announced last night by the president. That was Nqobile Madlala in Joburg, Ronald Masinda in Cape Town, and Mawande Kheswa in Durban.